County Commission workshop time limit is set at 1 hour and 30 minutes. At that time, any commissioner can ask for a 30-minute extension. A simple roll call vote. As with the last few months' meeting, public comments will be moved to the end of the meeting to ensure that citizens have an opportunity to address any items placed on the agenda at the workshop. I would like to thank WLAF, Volunteer Times, for the video feeds. I think this right here has been a big asset to us. I also want to thank the La Follette Press for looking at all sides of the story when you print it. Thank you all very much. Commissioners, your 4 years is coming to an end. I would like to thank you all for all your hard work and your dedication to your job. Over the past 4 years, this commission has dealt with many challenges, including over 2 years keeping the county operational during the COVID. You're to be commended. Over the course of the last 4 years, you've been criticized, you've had false statements made against you, but at the end of the day, you have represented your district and the county well. And as the chairman of this committee, I just want to commend you for your job and the best of luck to you in the upcoming election. Let's build the agenda. Okay, notary public applications of approval. You should have those. Committee reports and minutes, budget and finance, animal control, building and grounds, sanitation. Approval of budget amendments and other funding resolutions. We have no budget amendments or funding resolutions this month. Approval for payment of the monthly travel credit card usage. At this point, we don't have anything right now, but you're making the hotel reservations and everything. Is that correct? Okay. And same thing with the mayor. Is that correct?
We've not received the bill yet this month, but in our office.
Okay. Commissioners, I wish the best for all of you in your upcoming election. But in saying that, the 22nd and 23rd of August is going to be in Franklin, and it's set for all elected, newly elected commissioners. The rooms that we've got will be for those people, those 15. Yes. Also, doesn't mean that you can't go. It just means that, hey, you will have to get your own reservations. And so I think work through Amanda and she can take care of it. Reports from county officials and all departments, including Board of Education. Reports from organizations receiving funding from the county. Information part I just gave to you. Other matters. Resolution 2022-07-18, resolution authorizing Campbell County to apply for and match the 2022 TDOT Multi-Model Access Grant. It's on page 55 for you. Also, approval of Cora Willis and Kimberly Falls to the Library Board. Mayor, are those yours? The Library Board?
She said that.
Where did they come from? It came from the Library Board? It came from the Library Board.
That's our recommendation.
Actually, I believe, according to the email, it looks like they've already.
I concur with
Okay, good with it? Okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
Also on the note of, I think, Mayor, I think that we're going to be bringing up the archive information after, right, Mr. Mayor? The city of La Follette, I think you talked to Mr. Burrs about that.
Did he send it back?
Well, I just wondered if you all had any correspondence with that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Approval of the,
Bruce,
I'm sorry,
go back to that one about the resolution 22-7-18. Now, that's the one we've applied for over the years, am I correct? T-Dot. Is that a one that's actually both whole county and cities?
That's the bicycle pedestrian greenway plan, starting at Carroll.
That's the one for Carroll off 145.
Well, it starts at
Yes,
Carroll, but
it'll be the one taking care
we're
of
going to
everything.
keep applying for it every year,
Okay. All right.
but it does have a match.
It's only 5%.
Approval of the ETDD contract for the fiscal year 22-23.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Interrupt you.
Go ahead.
That's the one for planning commission, is that correct? That's our planning commission contract?
Just a bit, yeah.
All services, grant writing.
It's not on the water projects that we've been working on.
No, it's not projects, it's just the development district contract itself,
It's doing most.
which does provide the planning commission technician.
Mayor, you have the floor.
Mr. Chairman, we had some good news this weekend. Somebody basically with Marlowe put out our numbers from the ambulance service, and we met our revenue goals. Actually exceeded them somewhat, but it was over $2 million worth of revenue produced in the ambulance service this year. So I'm reiterating my request to hire 2 40-hour Monday through Friday crews for BLS to increase service for Campbell County. I appreciate anybody who would be willing to sponsor that.
Mr. Chairman. And I address this to Bruce. Bruce, are you still operating one of the day trucks already? You discussed that.
Yeah.
So
We are, but it's a part-time truck. And it's
being
just
operated
when we
beyond-
can operate it, we operate it. When we can, we can. This week, we've only been able to operate it. We'll only be able to operate it today. Nobody's picked. We operated on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. It's part-time employees. And as of
that's
this
what we
week,
discussed. We discussed that to use that part-time employee.
Right,
To do
but-
that day truck.
but we're only covering it maybe 1 or 2 days a week. There's not enough part-time people to cover that truck, those 3 days.
How many people do we have on the list for part-time?
Probably 12 to 14.
But we're actually doing that truck beyond what we've already set aside.
When we can find, it's only there Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
It's being done on a basis that it calls for it, plus it renews itself. The county commission is not funding that part, it's coming through sources from patient charges.
Correct.
Okay.
Bruce, to add to that in some perspective, since we don't have a committee to talk about this anymore, I would like to know how our runs are now. Are we in crucial need now over on the side of the mountain? Are you getting the people to the hospital? Are they having to wait like they have been in the past? I mean, we need to know for this fact is because the mayor is wanting 2 new automobiles for the EMS. So can you elaborate a little bit on that? And I think the public would like to know as well.
If you're asking if we need more trucks on the road, yes. Every director in this state will tell you that. And yes, people are having to wait. I'm doing the best I can do with the amount of resources that I have. So yes, people are having to wait. 911 calls are having to wait. Transfers out of the hospital are having to wait. But we're doing the best we can with what we've got.
Is it actually getting to an emergency status?
We're at emergency status every day. 3.5 trucks understand, 3.5 trucks covering 500 square mile, 40,000 people.
And we have folks on the part-time list that would be willing to come full-time.
We have a few that are willing to come, but I have had people apply for full-time
We
positions,
could hire.
but I don't have the positions to hire
Have
them.
you also reached out, I think, Mr. Brooks, you know this, have you also reached out for retired veterans that's got the experience to come on board with
If
you
they're not
all?
licensed in the state of Tennessee, I cannot function them. They cannot work until they're
You know
licensed.
anything about that?
I do. I mean, they're licensed, we're approved.
Let's not forget them either, that do want to work, and basically, if they're drawing a pay, they'll come on board just because they're retired, because it's something their heart desires to do. So let's not
Absolutely.
forget that.
Absolutely.
Sure. With the second. Anyone else want to speak before? Mr. Davis?
How many full-time employees you have, Bruce?
22?
How many?
22,
22? And how many you need today?
the 22 that's working.
You have
22
that show up every day?
You have a 24-hour truck at La Follette, a 24-hour truck at Jellicoe, a 24-hour truck at Carroll, and a 14-hour truck out of the White Bridge Monday through Saturday.
And how many that takes to each truck?
2 to each truck.
And we want 8 people?
Yeah.
You have 22 full-time employees. You have trouble getting them to work.
When they take vacations, I can't tell them they can't have it.
Right?
So, I mean,
You don't get 2 days a week.
Just a second. Hold it.
Mr. Mayor, I floor.
Wait a second.
the ones that work, when they're scheduled to work, they come to work.
Do they schedule themselves or do you schedule?
I schedule.
You schedule? You
Yes.
tell them what hours for the order? Tell
Yes.
them. And so out of 22 full-time and 14 part-time, and you don't have a problem getting your staff to work? I mean,
The full-time people work when they're scheduled to work, unless they take off because they're sick or they take off a vacation day.
And then, all right,
And the part-time people are full-time somewhere else, so
well, okay. Well, people's asked me, said, you're understaffed, you don't have nobody to work for you. Sounds like you got plenty of people working, and 22 employees.
but that's the 3.5 trucks that cover per day.
Right. But that's still, you run 3 days, they work 3 days, 3 days, 3 days, if you got that many employees, is what I'm trying to help. I'm just trying to get answers to the question
Right.
that Gunz has laid out, that we're responsible for.
I'll give you any answer you want, you know
Okay,
what
but I'm just saying, so you've got, did y'all order those 3 new trucks?
Yeah, they'll be here probably about April or May of next year.
Okay. And then also, they're saying we don't put no money into y'all's budget, but your budget, $1.9 million this year,
I think it's 1.1.
1.1?
I believe that's what it is. I'm just gonna tell you, last I looked at it, it's 1.1 or 1.2.
All right, I'm,
Okay. Mr. Work, and then, Mayor. Well, yeah, Zach.
Is the deputy director position still open?
Excuse me,
Is
sir.
the deputy director position still open?
Yes, it is, sir.
Could you not realign within your budget between that position and temporary person?
I am looking at that.
Because I don't think this body, I don't think will necessarily authorize positions within that department.
Anything else? Mr. Work, and then Mayor.
What's the cost to putting 2 more trucks up, total cost? Trucks and supplies, fuel, and personnel.
What was it came up today? Was that ballpark number?
Conservative to be about 300,000.
300,000 to 2 more trucks on.
two or per truck?
2, both trucks will be
Is that going to
9,300.
be BLS or ALS?
BLS.
So it'll be paramedic, you're going to have to.
It'll be BLS truck.
the run volume, and Crystal may compare this, run volume 6 years ago compared to today. I know our run volume's increased by 322 by looking at just reports, and I know reports coming from you, Crystal. And that's great. That's 322 more than we scheduled by budget process. Brought in a lot of extra money. A lot of people need to understand, over the years, the ambulance service was at this level, abundance for the county. And now it's switched. When you take your patient charges goes down, your run volume, patient charges, your tax dollars go up. So that's why we're at the 1.2, I think we're closer to 1.35.
Right.
You know the numbers, Crystal, tonight?
No, not the whole.
6 years ago, what run volume was running compared to today's run volume, I think it's 6,000. We budgeted in for 6270, we come in with 6592 this year, which is a blessing, that we got that in running. But I recall, 6 years ago, we was probably about 1,000 more call volume than we are today. And I know that has a lot of variances. People need to understand, when they're hauling people to Knoxville, and they're not taking them to Nova North, they end up way on down the road, in Turkey. And I understand, I've sat on that committee for years and years, and I understand a little bit more about it than most people. But Bruce, you never requested in the budget cycle this year for that 2 trucks extra, am I correct?
No, the budget was presented to me, and I came to the budget
We just
hearing.
closed the budget out. I'm not trying to put you on, you just do a great job. We've actually had to use you the last couple of weeks. You've been great people, and I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
That's all I have, Mr. Bruce. I know we're doing a great job. We just have to kind of bear down on it this coming year. I mean, we're out of the budget cycle process. We've got some extra funds. Can't throw it all at once.
Mayor, then Ralph.
Mr. Chairman, I'm really not asking for any money. You're averaging $330 a call. That includes unpaid calls. That's 25–30% of your calls. If you take out the unpaid calls, you're averaging close to $500 a run. We're missing doctor visits that are paid calls. You don't get to schedule a doctor visit without a paid call. Those are for insured customers and citizens. So, and we generated 2.1 million in revenue, so our revenue model is holding, and the market is there, and the demand is there. I'm not asking for money. The market demands these runs, and they're paid runs. So I'm just asking to let the funded calls happen, and let's convert 2 crews out there and relieve some pressure on our emergency trucks.
Just a second. You guys don't mind, I'll make a comment. Bruce, it's my understanding is you guys had about 113,000 surplus, correct? That you made above. I think it was 2.
Roughly.
Yeah, I think 125,000 of it was back money.
It's going to catch up money.
Yeah, catch-up money, yeah, and the other was monies that you actually made.
Yes, sir.
Mayor, my understanding is that you, as the person that's over the ambulance service and everything, I could be wrong, but you guys, as long as you're within your budget and everything, you guys can do whatever you need to do.
But I need somebody to direct the finance department to in-process them as full-time employees, because they will not. This body can direct that.
Mr. Davis and Mr. Hughes.
All right. Mr. Mayor, can you have Mr. Marlowe send the commissioners an email on why he won't, or they won't, or they can't? So, first we heard about it. But he won't let you do, so we have no say so.
He doesn't work for me, he works for you.
But you're saying he won't let, but you have to send your request in to him.
We sent employees to in-process and they refused.
Well, we'll find out, and have him send all us an email on it. But what I want to, Mr. Bruce,
Yes, sir.
maybe Thursday, we're building a new EMS building in Jellicoe.
Yes, sir.
The commissioners is funded, and a new drive-through for the clerk's office, and the commissioners is funded. and I need to give you again, I'm gonna need to move some stuff around, and I need your approval,
What day you gonna meet?
Thursday.
What, evening, morning?
Well, I'll have to give you a time.
So you give me a call, I'll meet you there.
But,
No problem.
but it's going good over there, we're getting started. The building, you all ain't seen it, you know, we tore down the, old restaurant, beauty shop on the side, there's no building in the back, and we removed it. The building's been repainted, and the awnings are coming, put on it, make it look good, put new windows, we'll put new windows in it, and then we're getting ready for construction on the Young West building itself. And so, just so people know, people tell me, thank you all for funding this building for them. That's all.
Scotty?
Okay, real quick, I want to ask you and Bruce, the mayor, real quick. I'm kind of on hands kind of out when it comes to exactly what kind of money. Are we talking about 300 total, or are we talking about, you know, the county, we give y'all, you know, like you say, 1.35, whatever. You know, I'm saying it, guys, let's think about this for a second. Do you not have any monies at all that we can help, that can help the county then maybe make that decision like Commissioner Davis and Chairman Bruce want to do? See, we're trying to, you can tell that Commissioner Ortiz wants to help, and Commissioner Marlowe here. Can you give us an exact number without saying, okay, Crystal, $300,000? Can you?
What's it gonna cost, Scotty?
I mean, do you all have any money though that you can help us with? I mean, if we give you 135, whatever we give you, and nobody seems to know the total, right? But can you, Mayor, can you elaborate, please? Let's go.
Sure. Jefferson County puts 2.2 million in theirs, and they run 8 trucks a day. They've got about 12% bigger population. They run all ALS trucks. All right, so when you compare and look at Claiborne County, they're putting in $2 million. They're running more trucks. So, but the two I'm asking for are BLS day trucks to run doctor visits. They will generate their own revenue. I mean,
Doctor visits.
yes, we need another emergency truck. I would love to have another ALS truck.
Right, along with the insurance.
Yes, the collections. I mean, our collections were on par this year. We did $2 million worth of collections, 2.1. So the market's there.
In
So
1 year? Or how long does that take to do that?
one bill cycle for the month and your cash flow. So, I mean, we could generate more revenue with those day trucks. If the revenue model is broken for Monday through Friday day trucks, then it's all broken. It's not. It's there. The market and demand is there, and your citizens aren't being served. We just don't have enough trucks. We've got too much space to cover, too many patients. I mean, I think we can generate it. My intention is to generate the revenues to run those 2 trucks.
Mr. Chairman, I do say that to the citizens, our people that pay the tax dollars, their families, solely deserve something like this so we can get to them quickly. You know, a lot of people are dying and stuff like that. So I think it's way well deserved. If you say you want to talk to Mr. Marlowe, Mr. Bruce.
Yes.
Thank you.
Before we move on, just a second. I understand the trucks that we need for the doctor, you know, the patients going to the doctor visits and stuff and everything. But I think at the end of the day, Bruce is not one, Bruce would rather have an ambulance that he could use on the road. Would you not, Bruce?
Yes, we need to have trucks to cover everything.
Everything, not just doctor.
We need trucks to cover everything. And I'm just being honest. Everybody there knows me, knows I'm gonna be as straightforward as I can. I'm not gonna pull punches, and I ain't gonna lie to none of it. It's never have, never will. 3.5 trucks is not enough trucks to cover this county. It is wrong of the citizens of this county to depend on 3 trucks to come and get them. When we go to Knoxville, we are there for hours. It's not like it was 5 years ago when you just went and dropped, you went to the ER, You went straight to a room, you gave a doctor report, and you left. That's not the way it is. And then we've got a truck in Jellicoe, that truck consistently is going 30 to 60 miles every call it runs. So we have to have more, and however it happens, I don't know, but I'm just telling you what it is. More trucks, and there's not a director in this state, the EMS consultant for this region, or the state EMS director, will tell you, they don't know how we do it. 322 extra calls this year. I praise my guys and girls that run it, and they deserve it.
Mayor and then Scott.
But I'm not talking about that transfer. I'm talking about a scheduled doctor's appointment to a clinic, 3 of which we have for dialysis in our county. We would get more of those if we had more truck availability. So, yes, hospital to hospital transfer, ER to ER transfer, you're in the wait line. But if I've got a doctor's appointment at a clinic from somebody who's ambulatory and needs the ambulance, they're paid call on a scheduled appointment at North, at Turkey Creek, at Oak Ridge, wherever, and they go in and see the doctor, they get back in the truck, we bring them home. That's not the 3-hour wait time. That is the appointment and bring them back. We can do 3 of those calls a day, Monday through Friday, on each truck.
But in saying, my point is that you, as the person that's over EMS, you have the authority, as long as it's within your budget and stuff and everything, and we already know there's $113,000 surplus. Okay, you said the only holdup is Mr. Marbury, finance.
Due process has full-time people.
I will talk to Mr. Marlowe, Mr. Kitts, Mr. Moore, and then
Coach Bruce, I'm going to direct this to you, and you guys, Mr. Mayor and Ms. Perkins, can just listen for a second. We, the body of commissioners, it definitely is our responsibility to see that our departments, need money to operate and do things on. But, we're dealing with people's lives here. We're dealing with time waiting, and I did hear you say there's $117,000. So that being said, I do know that Mr. Marlowe's our finance director, but we are the funded body. We are. It's our responsibility to say, hey, look, you need to take action here, passion concerning this issue here, because, Mr. Chairman, we're in dire need here for these, to get these ambulances afforded and on the road. But my concern is simple, Mayor, is, and Mr. Perkins, is that you say they're lacking people working, but they can get part-time workers and maybe full-time workers, and hopefully consider some veterans. So that being said, I think that when you do talk to Mr. Brown, my personal opinion as a commissioner is he needs to know how dire need this is and the county need this EMS. That's my opinion.
Mr. Kitts, I'll say this. I think Mr. Marlowe and Mr. Perkins work together on a daily basis. So I think that, hey, he knows the situation. I will reach out to him and I'll ask that he send an email out to everyone involved. That way, you won't be secondhand information will be coming from the finance director himself.
It's his responsibility, Mr. Marlowe, as a finance director, to meet our needs, and this is a dire need.
Like I said, Mr. Kidd, I'll have that information sent to you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Davis. Mr. Marbury.
3 months ago, this ain't like 3 months ago, maybe 4. I think Zach actually formed a team, wrote, designed, to try to handle this problem. But we discussed about a pilot program. Remember that, Mayor? Trying to reach out and do runs on a run-to-run basis on the non-emergencies. The doctor.
I don't have enough trucks.
We got 7 trucks. If we got 7 trucks, and we're down one right now, right?
Yeah, we're waiting on one to get the motor. The motor finally got here. It should be done middle of next week.
And I think the commission was all for going ahead and getting that in place. to run that BLS division. When I talked to you the following week, you said, I've been running that BLS for occasion, as a need-to-need basis. Okay? A few years back, and some of you may remember, Commissioner Hickok was on the committee, and he brought up funding for $176,000 to do a BLS division. We discussed that in our committee. And over the years, we couldn't hire nobody. Bruce, you told us all the time, you couldn't find nobody to place in that truck. And we decided to go a different direction, or you all did, and the commission kind of followed suit. And it was the first responder. We got shortfall that year. And we had to take that $176,000 and offset the shortfalls that we had been down from run volume. So, you know, it's not, the commission has not tried. We have tried over the years. And it's always been, and one more question, I'm going to try to be quiet, I know we got other things to discuss tonight. How are we on the bins, on the bench train? I've not asked you that in months, and I apologize.
Still where we always was.
Nobody's been trained on the bins.
We took the class, we could not get into the clinical setting. We could not get into the clinical setting at that time when the class was over.
But at that time, we was full-blown COVID, and they didn't even offer it.
I gotta work through a college, Rusty. I can't just do what I need, you know, what I tell them.
That's
They
one
tell
of the
me.
biggest things when it comes, and we discussed this, I'm not going to put you on spot today. If you can't live, what happens? We have livestock. Am I correct?
Our livestock goes with
And
us.
that's been one of my pet peeves for a long time, to make sure we're trying to get at least a couple of people on the cruise.
Well, perfect example.
Time.
Perfect example, the other day, we had 2 vent patients. I had 1 truck in the county. And the pilot program you talked about, I can't pick and choose what day doctor's appointments come in.
But the program we talked about was, you know, when you get a dialysis patient from Mary mentioned.
That's what we're doing on the Monday, Wednesday, Friday
And
already.
you got that schedule. So in the dialysis patients, my understanding, are scheduled through Medicare, Team Care, whatever, their insurance company, for the pay for that run. So it's kind of a, we're never going to get paid for that run. So,
Okay, but like right now, dialysis clinics are only running Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I can't take no more dialysis patients on Monday, Wednesday, Friday because I do not have the staff to do it. I can't I cannot tie the 3 trucks that we have in this county up all day long doing dialysis. 911 has to
but
come.
you've done told me, Bruce, that you're not tying your 3 trucks. You've got to.
Yes, we are, Rusty, we're tying everything up.
Pardon?
We're tying everything up because that truck is not there because it's part-time people.
That's what I'm saying. So you don't schedule those part-time people those 3 days?
If they can't work, they can't work.
Okay. I'm done, Mr. Bruce.
Mr. Davis? Some of y'all may remember this or not, but now I don't remember. Mr. Berry's come in here several times, wanting to put on 2 more trucks. And this is the first time you've ever said the holdup is Jeff Marlowe. This is the first time you've ever mentioned that in this meeting, unless somebody else remembers it, I don't. I do not remember you ever saying Jeff Marlowe won't approve it. You've never come to this committee and said that until tonight, unless I've slept and don't remember.
If you authorize it, he has to do it.
But you ain't never told us that. If that was the only problem, it would have been fixed years ago.
Then authorize it.
What?
Put it on your agenda item, Commissioner.
Gentlemen, please.
You had never said it before. It's the problem. You've said put on trucks for $250,000, but you've never said one time.
I'm not asking for $250,000.
You have before, but for the trucks, but you said you got it in your budget, and Jeff Marlowe won't approve it unless we approve it. You've never asked us to do that before. So I will check with Jeff Marlowe tomorrow. You can do, all of us need to, and see what that is. But the thing is, you've never said that before. That ain't a problem to get done if you've got the money.
Would you
should
put it on your agenda to authorize it?
Did when I talk to Jeff, not on your work, but I'll talk to Jeff and see what the problem is.
Will any of you other?
Hold just a second, Mayor. Anything else, Mr. Davis?
No, I'm done.
Zach, you have the floor.
The only thing I was going to say, I do remember an instance, it's probably back 2 years ago, was the first responder. do think probably numbers would have to be refined because you can't exceed your limitation. Now, unless revenue numbers potentially either have to increase your revenue section or you would have to do some other items. But then also that, I mean, I still don't understand the why. And the why, I mean, I don't know if we should do the line two, but I don't know why you can't reline the budget and list it on the tracks. That I don't understand.
I can't hear you, Zach. What was that last part?
I don't understand why in the current budget, even temporarily, because you need it later, why you can abolish, I hate to say abolish, but hold off on the deputy director position.
And me and you have discussed that, and when we discussed it, I told you that since we were at the end of one budget cycle, I would be looking at things to do this budget cycle. So I am looking at that. So that is not something that I'm ignoring, no, it's gonna stay there. That is something I am looking at, but we're just getting into the budget.
Anything else to say? Mayor, and then Scotty?
We just exceeded revenue.
I'm sorry?
I mean, we just exceeded revenue because we outproduced it. So there is a way,
Just a second. Okay, anything else, Mayor?
not on that topic.
Okay, Scotty, I'm gonna let you and then move on.
All right, here we go. If I had a magic wand today, it's a common sense question, guys. Being said, $300,000, are you telling this body here tonight that you all have people that will go to work immediately? And being said, is there people already not staying on board with us because of the pay scale, et cetera? So then, you know, and then the question to you, Mayor, is simple, is, are you, how can I say, boy, I got some guts, don't I? Do you consider not wanting to talk tomorrow because of denial, he's gonna deny the EMS, or what is your way of thinking about talking to him about wanting somebody to carry this?
He works for you.
No, you know what I'm saying? I'm asking you, why are you so optimistic about Jeff Marlowe not wanting, why, I'm just asking you.
Scotty, I can answer that for
Okay.
you. The mayor has requested that this body, not himself, but this body here, be the one to check with the finance director to find out why the funds aren't being
I was
released. Is that
wondering.
correct?
No funds, the hires being authorized, just directed so.
Well, you got.
Let us in process
you got-
4 full-time people and we'll recruit.
Mayor, you and I both know you gotta have funds before we can hire them.
Yeah, that's what I was getting
But
at.
I have a way to pay for it.
Okay, you do have a way to pay for it?
We're going to generate the revenue. Yes, sir.
Well, listen, if
We
you
met
got-
our revenue goals this year.
Okay.
We're going to meet those revenue goals.
Okay, Mayor, I'll carry it if you got the way to fund it. I don't see no, you, if you got a way to fund it.
Thank you.
Let's go for it. I'd like to know how, Coach.
Go ahead.
I'd just like to know compassionately, and I think everybody here like to know.
You're averaging
Okay,
$330
you
a call.
go, roll with it, bro.
You're averaging $330 a call, including 25% unpaid calls. If you take out unpaid calls, how much are you going to average? You're going to bust 500 a call. These are all paid calls that we're going to schedule. Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, I need 2 40-hour crews. I don't need that 24-hour crew for this. And when I prove to you we can do it,
Okay.
then we're going to go after the emergency crew for a third position.
Well, I think, well, I'll be happy campers if you can prove it to the, Monday night, you're gonna be able to prove.
Okay, Mr., you gonna carry?
Yeah, if he can prove to this body Monday night, he's gonna be able to pay for it, and you talk to Mr. Marlowe, I think we're rolling.
Let me explain something to you.
Okay.
Monday night, the discussion is gonna be right here tonight,
Okay?
okay? Now, if you got something you need to talk to the mayor about, you need to talk to the mayor, okay? I will have the information from Mr. Marlowe sent to everyone here. There won't be no questions, there won't be no second hand. You read the email and see what it says and stuff and everything.
Yeah.
At that point, if you wanna carry it, you carry it.
Okay, Mayor, thank you, Coach.
4 full-time positions.
Okay, great, 4 times. Now, that being said, you and I, let me tell you the way this works with me. You and I are going to communicate. Now, I'm not
Okay.
gonna come in here Monday night empty-handed.
Okay, let's move on.
But I mean, Coach, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I know what
You
you're
gonna have
saying.
the information for me?
Yes.
That's great, thank you.
Rusty, moving on.
Thank you,
Bruce is our
Mayor.
director.
I'm
Yes.
sorry.
Bruce is our director, and he needs to contact Mr. Marlowe tomorrow for a funding resolution for this. If that's so, your so desire. If that's what you and the mayor's worked out, and then bring it back to the commission. But, there've been comments made tonight that we're the boss. The FMS committee is the boss of the finance chairman,
Finance director.
financial director, sorry. So, to let you know that, let everybody understand, that's where it says it, whether you like it or not.
4 county commissioners on that body.
Mayor, you see the seat, Mondale Beck seats a seat, superintendent of schools seats a seat, 4 commissioners.
There you go.
So, to clarify that, I'm not trying to be smart, we are not his boss, the commission. That group of people, am I correct, Joe? Yeah. I'm done.
No, we're gonna move on, kid.
Thank you.
That's
That's on the
just-
agenda, right?
Scotty, you gonna carry it?
Yeah, if he carries the information to the, show me and carries the body to prove I'm handling this deal here for sure.
Okay, good. Mayor, go ahead.
Okay. I continue to recommend the ARPA supplement for our county employees in accordance with the memorandum I issued last month and months before. We have an opportunity to coordinate with the city of Follett at the very least, Jellicoe, Carroll, and the Campbell County Board of Education, depending on the posture of $750,000 that we converted from industrial money to Boys and Girls Club money. We've got an opportunity to start a Boys and Girls Club, at least at the West Follett facility and Jellicoe Elementary School. But we would need the ability to use that $750,000 to hire bus drivers, buses, nutrition specialists, buy food, and have daycare specialists hired as well.
That would still be something that had to be run through the recreation department. So I
Okay.
suggest that you get with Dwayne. You guys, I think Dwayne has a meeting next week, maybe this week.
Wednesday.
I suggest you be there at that meeting. Go ahead.
And I spoke with H&H Construction today, and he said he would be willing to take a look at our roof and sanitation to try to stop the leaks.
None got it fixed. It's fixed. It's fixed.
Thank you. Anything else?
Knocked up here.
That's all I have.
Mr. Chairman, on a good note about whether you, because I've done a lot of checking into it myself, whether I'm going to say this, Coach, is
Please,
if you're,
Scotty, direct-
oh, yes, sir, sorry, easy.
Go ahead.
I do know for a fact, from experience of talking to several people outside of the county, Scott County in particular, Knox County, et cetera, is, you know what, really, when you talk about a Boys and Girls Club or a facility for children to go to, you know, say for example, if the parents are working, I'm telling you right now that people are excited. You might not think it's a lot of money, but it really is. But when you're talking about $10 a day, the way this works, you do $10 a day, some people do $20 a day. Do you imagine, can you all imagine if we had a facility to offer, the county offer for them to go to, do you realize, Coach, how much revenue we're talking? It's a money game. It's a money game, and it can happen. But we just got, Coach, to take that opportunity for these children, so we can get them in a facility where they want to go back, and the parents want to pay $10 and $20.
Okay. I suggest you be at the recreation meeting on Wednesday.
Oh, I'll be
at
there,
5
sir.
o'clock. Mayor, anything else?
That's all I have, thank you.
Very pleasant debate, but. All right. Coach, you got anything? Dwayne's not here. Okay, Dwayne has asked that the minutes from the Recreation Committee be approved the next month's meeting, so we'll get those out there the phone. For the rules. Yeah, on Monday night, yes. Okay. Inform everybody. We will be suspending the rules for the recreation. Okay. I don't think I have anything. Mr. Davis, you have the floor.
Thank you, sir. We had our end of the year buildings and grounds meeting last week, and next year we have no major projects to fund. No one turned in no request, but we did do an in-house. If you know, I don't know if y'all can tell the difference, but these lights in here are a whole lot brighter now. We changed all the bulbs. We're changing all the bulbs in the whole courthouse here, and we had a company come in last year, wanted to change them all the lights and us sign a 15-year contract with them, and then they was gonna take the electricity that we would save in our electric bill. The estimate's gonna be about $29,000 for the year, and that's what we would have to pay them. So me and the committee got together, and it costed the county $5,000 in-house to change all the lights, and we're gonna save all that money, and we ain't throwing it away. So, as these lights right now, to burn 24 hours, it won't cost as much as if they burn it for 2 hours. So we done that in-house, and that was our meeting that we had. So, in this coming year, we have, unless it's emergency, we have no major projects. Last year, we did Brandon Parton's office. I don't know if y'all even paid any mind. We put new siding, new windows in that facility, needed done for 20 years. We've done a lot of projects in-house to save a lot of money. So that's all I have, nothing to go on. That's just an update of our grounds this year. Now, on sanitation, we discussed last week to put GPSs in our trucks. As you all know, county's pretty good size. There's a lot of places in the county has no cell phone service. This will allow the county to know if we got a truck missing, we can find out where it's at. We know where it's at. We can keep up with the trucks, where they're at, make sure nothing's wrong. If, you know, sometimes, hopefully, God's will, nobody gets hurt, but if they go to the bluff somewhere and they ain't been seen, we can go right to them. So this is something we need to do on the trucks and sanitation. Let me look at my notes here. We don't have to vote on this, but we have some people coming in, want to clean up the lake. The committee voted to let Glennis Monday, our litter control officer, be in control of that. If the guy brings in too much styrofoam, that's Glennis' call to take it or not. We all agree that he should pick up garbage also with the styrofoam. And that was the problem, just bringing in styrofoam, it's costing the county too much money. Then other than that, I heard today over in Jellicoe, they're tearing down the old Heritage Pizza. It's been sold, and what we were told that they're going to be a day clinic put in Jellicoe. There's the Heritage Pizza. They're building them, so that's going to help the citizens over in Jellicoe, even people over here. You know, I'm in Jellicoe, I go to Winsburg where if I need. But it's good for the county. And then the other note, from now on, when I call a committee meeting and I'm the chairman of it, if the committee members, it's not on that committee, I will not have a meeting. I won't have no more substitutes. If you can't make it, then we'll cancel. But no more, if you ain't on the committee, I'm not going to accept it. If you can't show up, we'll just wait till you can. Thank you, sir, and that's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Douglas. Will.
We had some bad roads, both 15, we had some roads last night.
Anything else? Supervisor's not here, Tyler's not here. Scott, you have the
We
floor.
only have 12 things, we'll make it last 30 seconds. Just kidding. We've got when we talk about the children, we talk about the senior citizens and the emails and stuff, we have to continue focusing on those. We just can't talk the talk. We have to talk and then walk the walk with these particular issues when you're dealing with the children, senior citizens, and Campbell County as a whole on a lot of these issues we're talking about. So I do know, Mr. Chairman, that we can make things happen in the facilities in Campbell County as a mayor, and if you have the commissioner's support, then these things can happen if you have what they call communication with your cities. That has got to happen, okay? It's been way too long for nothing. I'm just talking, okay? It's been way too long for anything to not happen for these children and to be able to offer these parents that work, the hard-working parents, especially when they're going out here on 75 and having to leave home and having to put them in such places as daycares. There's options here. There's options here, okay? So I hope that you would jump onto that, Mayor, okay? And getting back, okay. I've been corresponding with Steve Borden with, TDOT. And Coach, I just want to thank Steve Borden and the mayor here. We was able to, there's a property across from Food Line that was grown up. And she actually, it's been 2 years. And Steve and the board was able to get a contractor to go up there. It took me 9 days, but I can assure you I was on the phone with him like once or twice a day. And of course, he probably got annoyed with that, but that's part of my job. And it got done. The place looks great. And what, Coach, the thing about that I didn't like about that focused in my eyes here. I focused at this business here, thinking to myself, it's grown up. Food Line's here. Food Line and that side getting business. Then you look across the street, then you got a business here that's striving and trying to stay open. And you know what, Coach? She lost money in 2 years. And she's still struggling and striving to stay open, right? So I want a big shout out to Steve Borden, and the mayor had intervened, but it took me 9 days to get it done, and I want to say thanks to TDOT for helping with that. Now, also on another note with TDOT, with Steve, I'm sad to say for a lot of people on Highway 63, we're still having to deal with the timeline on that. We're still talking about, I've tried to get it down to narrow, maybe a possibility if it would be maybe the 24-20 field. They're still shooting, unfortunately to say, it's going to be around 20-25, okay? So, other than that, things are going pretty smoothly in the 2nd District. And, Mr. Chairman, that looks like about all I've got. Thank you.
Okay. Now, before I move on, you will be carrying the mayor's proclamation on the ambulances if you get the...
I'm going to look at it right this second, right in the eyes and say, Mr. Mayor, I hope and pray that you, this is serious. It's a serious note for me, because when I tell people I'm going to do something, I try to hold it, because they hold me accountable. I hope that you're able to furnish this body and the media a way that we're going to be able to pay for this, to put maybe full-time, part-time veterans, somebody that needs to work and that will want to work and come to join the crew at EMS. I hope you can produce to that, and I think that you couldn't find a better person than the chairman to intervene to help with this, to see how that would go. And then, of course, Commissioner Davis, we don't agree on everything, but he's also on board. So you got, what you got here, Mayor, you got people that cares about this, as well as Commissioner Ward, Commissioner Marlowe, and I can't speak for those. I'm just saying to you, okay, no, sir, thank you very much, but I would hope that you don't prove us wrong and help us out.
Thank you. Butch? No, sir. This is not here. Zach, get the floor.
First off, I got a question. Did you say
But it's, I think, Rusty, I think it's always been around 20.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear
It's
that.
supposed to be made,
How about,
it's supposed to be made for
Well, no, I had said some of the part of it is gonna be to 2024 and 2025, is that
That's the
right?
Rogers Group thing.
Okay,
If this has been up the valley, the Rogers Group thing, they went through and paid the whole thing.
okay, good.
And right off the bat, you don't have tug hose, you don't have the emergency lane beating you to death. And that's what should have took place on that first one.
how's that you stuck for?
because I know originally the first phase, I think.
23 and then the second phase is 25.
Exactly.
But I know on the first phase, I think the back for 6 months of time. By the looks of it, this is the second phase, the second phase, not the first phase. And then also, I just want to thank everyone on that.
Anything else? Thank you, sir.
I forgot one thing, Coach, please. And it's right here on top of my list.
Let me finish everything, and I'll come back. Ms. Sue's not here. Rusty, you got the floor. Yes, sir.
Last month, I didn't think they got the information, the middle school track team went to state, and we're going to put that back on the agenda. And I apologize last month. It was all recall, I've been here 16 years. Every year, around the 20th of June, I'm on my anniversary. I will be here. If I get reelected, next year I will be here. But I apologize up front, but we'll redo that again this month if so. And I have one more thing, and Ralph probably needs to go through the committee. And some of you may know, and some of you may not. Here about a month ago, we had some vandalism at the shelter. Someone got into the breaker box and diverted the power. It's first three-phase power. We had a unit go down. Well, the reason the unit went down is somebody rewired it. And Tony, we spoke with Tony, and Tony spoke with Patricia. Nobody's done it on our side or their side. So we've had somebody slip in there. And it cost us about $6,000. Maybe $500 to replace that unit. I'd like the committee to look at cameras for that facility. If we've had it happen once, it's going to happen again. And we need to try to see if we can get that trimmed. We can see the animal shelter better. I know it's something that we can't do ourselves, but I think Mr. Billback and some other people can work it out, maybe Glenn. But maybe just look at the asphalt. Cameras are not that expensive, but it's a big deterrent. And I would hate to see somebody turn around and show
Question directed to you, Mr. Coach.
Mr. Orton, I'd be more than willing to do that, but now, when we put the cameras in, I think they need to be monitored at the sanitation department, not up there. That way it's separated and no one can get into it except us.
That'd be something
And
to,
that's what I'm saying, I think that's what we need to do. Because if you've got the monitor there and this is happening and nobody knows about it, they only want to cut the keys, so how do you got to protect us from that?
So I think, and I may be wrong, I know not everybody in here probably got, everybody's got cameras at their house.
Right.
And I think that could be like the multiple type use. It could be recorded, maybe at sanitation. If there's something, you can set those cameras at certain times at night in the certain areas, like behind the building where the three-phase came in at. And it would monitor, it would send an alert. And it could be sent to the FCCA director as well as somebody, or even possibly the sheriff's department.
Yes.
I would hate to see, I mean, that's, honestly, guys, if it's had to go within three-phase power of the line, I don't know how they can get burned up. Changing that over, single phase unit, three-phase, and got three-phase, and it's easy done. If you know what you're doing. You get burned up. It's real easy done, because every breaker space changes, go from single phase, three phase, single phase, three phase.
Are you willing to take that in your committee?
I sure will, probably with our secretary, and we'll set a meeting as soon as we can, and get this stuff here.
You know, we had that, everybody knows that the air conditioning unit was down. It was down, when we locked up, we found it. I mean, today's world, usually it takes months. They got to put in, got to fix back, and I'm gonna actually ask tomorrow if that's, since it's been vandalized, we'll turn that in on their insurance.
How long ago did this happen? Can we still send the sheriff up there and have a look at it, or investigate it?
I think Tony and them have went out at that time. Tony had got our contractor that does heat and air, I think it's Al Heat and Air, does the contract work. And they went out and looked at it, and when they started checking everything, they went to the breaker box, and it had been rewired. And put the three-phase power back in. So, I think Tony took some pictures, yeah, I think so, I think we still have a plan.
But you will take it in your committee?
Yes, sir, and just so people will know, you can't put a lock on the breaker box. If there's emergency and they got to get in there, with breakers, you know, they have to be able, by law, there's nothing supposed to be in front of the box at all. But to lock it up would be a bad thing, so the cameras would be the best thing.
There's actually a 400 amp disconnect that if something bad happens, one handle deal, you pull the disconnect down.
Well, they all know.
She'll take it up. Mr. Kidd?
I promise you, I'm trying to make these three real quick. Hey, Joe,
Oh, just a second.
I was going to ask you related to that, you'll be doing, may ask, I was going to ask Joe a question concerning the breaker boxes.
You're an electrician, Joe?
No, he would know if, being in a county, if these boxes are visible to be locked up or unlocked.
He just said they couldn't be locked up, Scott.
Okay.
That's against
So,
law.
You can do your sub panel,
Yeah.
but your main disconnect down.
You can't put locks on, keep them out. All right.
Any other questions?
well, he was going to elaborate on it.
I mean, they've already told you.
Okay, he was going to say something about it, Joe was.
I don't disagree with that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, Ralph, that being said, or if you, have you, talked with them up there about,
I didn't know
Wait just a
that.
second, hold on, Scotty. Rusty's the one.
I'm just asking if they took the committee. Yeah.
Yes.
And we're not trying to do nothing, and I'm sure what Trish told Tony, they get the hoop attention. So I'm sure what I've heard through the grapevine.
I was talking about maybe the cameras, is that all going to work out good coming from the animal shelter?
But it's still a county-owned building.
It's up to the council.
I'm not trying to put them back. I'm just trying to get the outside. We don't spot it in case somebody does.
Any other
Well,
questions?
I was going to ask Ralph if sanitation got all the cameras they're going to be needing now, do they need any more, or, you know?
Oh, wait a second. That's totally off topic.
That's all.
Well, it's like just talking about cameras.
Anything else?
Up there.
Rusty, anything else?
No.
Scott? Scott, you said you had one.
Yeah, I do, yeah.
Go ahead.
I was going, can I ask Bill, or do I have to ask you? I'm going to ask a question.
Direct it to me. and
Okay,
then-
that'd be fine. On a positive note, sanitation is now accepting commercial garbage. And I think the people need to know that. And I want to thank the sanitation out there. All the people have done what they've done out there in the last few days. It is coming to shake. And I think that needs to be recognized.
Thank you, sir. Anything else?
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Takes care of all the commissioners and everything.
We have not watched.
No, sir. Katie?
Yes.
Whoa.
I will be
Ms.
sitting
Katie,
down.
she's from Virginia, Cole area. Katie? Yes.
And in regards to your electrical question, it depends on the situation as to whether or not the box can be locked. My husband is a union electrician, so that is the answer to your question there. And in response to the EMS question that I wanted to pose before, does everyone know the difference between a BLS and an ALS? BLS is basic life support, ALS is advanced life support. So therefore, if we have 2 advanced life supports out on the interstate, 1 at each end of the county, I say yes, we do need more EMS. That's my opinion.
Thank you.
Some of you may know me, some of you may not. I was at the commissioners meeting, or
Planning Commission.
planning commission meeting on June 6th. And so I'm back again in front of our commissioners. And we have a little bit of information, new information. And first of all, I'm Katie Lynch, and here are several of my neighbors in Shady Cove. So we would like to welcome them. And I asked for the mayor to be here. I see Mr. Coker's here. I see Ron Dillbeck is not here. Surprise, surprise. And my own commissioner who's been ghosting me and not answering my calls. Johnny Bruce. No excuses, none. You've been ghosting me since about May. Not answering my calls. I've been leaving messages. So therefore, your job is disposable. You are running unopposed right now. 4 years you will not be unopposed. I promise you that.
I understand.
And
But now, when you finish with me, I'll get to say my part.
okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Okay.
Number one, my name's Katie Gick. My family has over 200 years here in Campbell County. They are the Bruce and the Walden families from Stinking Creek. My dad was from Caswell. He has well over 200 years with his family, which is the Reese family in Caswell. And so we are here tonight because there has been no resolution to our roads. And I would like to show you pictures of Mr. Dillbeck doing our roads. We were asked by, I believe, Mr. Coker, can you verify this? They said you have a book on the roads. He does not. They said Aline Baird was going to give us something on the roads. She doesn't have anything to do with the roads. Ron Dillbeck has yet to prove to us that there is any kind of road book that we can see as far as our roads getting done. But I have proof and pictures there that he had been doing roads, and all of a sudden it stopped. And we've been told by Mr. Barton that, yes, it is a county road down below, down up to Parsons Lane Grove. I'm going to give you a little information here. We have a letter from Dennis Potter dated 6/6/14 stating that the roads would be maintained by the county for the purpose of mail delivery. And in that letter that I presented previously, that he did make it to where we had mail delivery all down through Shady Cove. That mail delivery has stopped. Up until the beginning of last year, the roads were scraped and gravelled for the purpose of being maintained, and that just a sparse amount of gravel has been put on them. But like I said, on right after 6/6, when I came to the Planning Commission, I spoke with Mr. Coker, I spoke with Mr. Dillbeck on the phone. Mr. Dillbeck said he would put his money forward and time and do the roads himself. Here we are, July 11th, still nothing. A month and a week later. He brought no money, no gravel, no nothing down our roads. So what I'm saying is, who exactly decides that these are county roads? And Johnny, you know yourself, you came down there and you said that this was like a third world country. Well, you think it's a third world country when you came down there 5 or 6 months ago, it's worse than that now. It is much worse. We can barely get in and out of our houses. We can't, get up the road if it rains, if it snows, whatever. We cannot get in and out. Emergency services cannot get in and out. We had a little girl who was having a seizure, and the grandparents had to meet them at Cherry Bottom Church because the ambulances couldn't get down there. And she had to be life flighted to Children's in Knoxville. So therefore, we're in a dire emergency down there.
When were these pictures taken?
They're dated on there, and that is since Ron Dillbeck has, and he's supposed to be offering proof that he hasn't been down there. We're offering you proof that he has been down there maintaining the roads. So we don't know why we've been cut off. We don't know why we're being shut out by our county commissioners and by Ron Dillbeck.
How many county commissioners been down there to see that road?
One, and that was you.
Thank you.
Right.
I went with you, Tony.
No.
I went with, you went
Yeah,
with me.
I went with you one day too, you showed me.
Stop the hill.
Yeah, I sure did,
Yeah. And I have been communicating with Scotty Pitts because he's the only commissioner I can get a hold of.
Well,
I've been communicating with Scotty
I
Pitts.
said, hi.
It ain't Cotty kids, it's Scotty kids.
I said
No,
Scotty.
I'm talking to Rusty.
Now,
But, go ahead.
just a second, ma'am. I'll let you speak. Can I answer a couple of questions here?
Absolutely.
Well, when Mr. Potter wrote you the letter and everything, Mr. Kitts and I went and visited Mr. Potter.
No, we did.
Mr. Potter said, it was probably the wrong thing to do, it's illegal. Did he not?
Yeah, he did.
But in saying that, he did it, he said he's down there a couple of times a year that he would work the road. But he did say that it was illegal, did he not?
He did say that.
But down below our house, it may have been illegal, but up into Parsons Lane, it is a county road. The top of that hill is a county road. And Brandon Parton and the mapper, Mr. Baird, have both said it is a county road. And there's no reason that Ron Dillbeck is not maintaining it.
Okay, you mentioned Mr. Brandon Parton.
Uh-huh.
I've spoken to Mr. Parton on several occasions, and he has told me that he has no indication that that is a county road.
It is gray.
Now that's,
We have maps.
good, because I'm just telling you what I was told.
Well, he's
by the
telling you
official.
something different from me, and you have not communicated
I
that to me as my
understand.
commissioner.
Okay,
Just a second, Mr. Kitts, I'm talking. I spoke to Mr. Coker. Mr. Coker, you and I spoke about the road on Silvergate. And that's, when I'm not communicating with you, I've communicated with other people to find out my information before I talk with anybody, okay? So let me just finish. Mr. Coker, what did you tell me about this road out there
I've got copies.
when you and I
Well,
spoke?
Mr. Chairman, I think I sent the findings that I had made to all of the commissioners. We did considerable title work on it. I didn't find anything where those roads had ever been dedicated or accepted as county roads. I talked with Ms. Glick several times, and she's a fine lady. I mean, she's made her position very clear. And I know, as well as you all know, who've been down there, those roads are in bad shape, always have been. But I was unable to find anything where the planning commission or this commission had accepted this county roads and the deeds that were made from Fred Waddell and his wife Laverne that developed the area, all called them private roads. There at one point was an association that was formed ostensibly to try to take care of these roads. I don't know what happened. Kay told me that there was a lawsuit that was involved.
Right, it was dissolved in 4/8 of 10.
But That evidently just didn't work. I had asked the county clerk to look through her records to see, do you see anything here that indicates that those are county roads? I've never gotten anything back there.
She said she didn't know why you would ask her that. It would be Ron Dillbeck.
Well, the reason she would have been asked would be to look at the minutes of the county commission meeting to see if this ever came up. I don't recall that it ever come up, but I don't have a perfect memory. But I've always been interested in those roads down there, and I think I would have remembered it if it did, but I asked. I explained to her, and I explained, and you all know, that every year in January, there is a list that is published. It's the official road list. It's presented to this commission by the road superintendent. We've talked about this many times, that just because a road is listed on the list doesn't necessarily mean that it is a county road. And just because it's not on the list doesn't necessarily mean that it's not a county road. But these roads are not on that list, or whatever that might be.
Well, my guess is they've been taken off the list at some point, and we've got pictures that they were doing roads.
All I can say is that as far back as I can see this, I think the first one I saw was about 15 years ago. Wasn't ever on there then. So I can't say that it's never on there, but that's one of the things that should be in the minutes of the county commission meeting.
Okay.
That's kept by the county clerk.
Could you explain that to Alan Baird? Because she did not know why in the world she would be asked, and I talked to her today.
Yes, ma'am, I'll explain it.
Okay.
See, the thing about it is if that road had been passed by this body or the previous body, it would be in the minutes.
Well, it would have to be
And-
since
and-
2010.
And like you said, when I spoke to Brandon Barton told me that it was not a county road.
His map shows it way different.
Okay. And
And that comes directly from them. I mean, these were prepared before us by it.
well, like I said,
Not documented.
my information came from the elected official. That's his job.
We will show you the county maps.
Yes. Just a second. Ma'am, I'm gonna let you speak because you had your hand raised up.
I guess the only problem I have about our roads is they're not our roads anymore. Once the county or the government had our gate took down back in the early 2000s, it became everybody's road, and a few people can't upkeep the roads for hundreds of people. We've been broke in 3 times, ripped off 3 times.
And we keep hearing
Everybody
TDA.
gets down in there, and not only that, but you've got utility trucks that come in there all the time, garbage trucks, all that tear up our roads too. We can't keep them up.
But
We're just a few people.
I understand, like I said, hey, I came down there, and Katie and I went from one end of it to the other.
Correct.
And it is, and I agree, the road down there is terrible.
And
I mean, really, it's not even a road.
I actually worked for the post office at the time it was approved by the road commission to keep up our roads. Janet Lawson was our postmaster at the time. This is before I had my brain hemorrhage, so it was before 2010. That they approved keeping up our road.
Okay. Sir, I'm gonna let you get your hand raised.
Yeah, I just wanted to know if we're paying taxes.
Can I get your
on
name,
our-
please?
My name is Greg Porter,
Great.
and can anybody here give me a breakdown of how much my taxes that I pay to the county go towards county road?
If you want to hold on a second, I'm gonna give you some numbers on that. I recently went through,
Go ahead, Katie.
got the total taxes that we pay for all the properties, every property. We pay around $30,000 a year in taxes for every property down there. That's 171 properties. There are only about 25 to 30 people that live down there full time. There's probably 15 vacation homes, but we pay $30,000 a year. What are we getting? We can't get ambulance service because the ambulances can't make it down there. I don't know about fire. God help us if there's a fire down there. We had a child that almost died We have veterans that have to crawl out across the top of the ridge because cars can't get down there to get them. And we have people with disabilities, including myself, that have a hard time getting in and out of there in a car. So, I mean, something needs to be done. You guys sent me to the planning commission. I'm back here at commissioners meeting. You know, I feel like you guys are running me in circles. I'm not stopping. I am not stopping. My plans are in motion. If you guys do not want to do something, my plans are in motion to take it to a higher level.
Well, it's my understanding, like I said, you know, I've talked to Ron Dillbeck, I've talked to Brandon Parton, I spoke with Mr. Copeland, he told you what he's told me. Ron Dillbeck is the one that sets the road.
Why isn't he here? I requested him to be here. He what? He's fixing somebody else's road. Correct. Have you seen the pictures of his road? This is the pictures of Ron Dillbeck's road, and here are the pictures of our road. So his road is usually blacktop. A couple of times since he's been in office.
I understand, like I said.
I don't think you do understand.
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Because
I do.
we're down there, we're isolated and can barely get out. And if we have an emergency, God help us all. Because I'll tell you what, Kent County's will be #1 on the lawsuit list. If there is an emergency, if there is a fire, if someone dies, because we are fighting this tooth and nail to try and get some sort of civilization down there in our area. So where do we go from here?
Mr. Copeland?
What's it take for the county to take over these roads?
I don't know why these questions keep getting directed.
You're just the county attorney.
There's no authority to declare a road a county road, but I can answer the question for that. What is the question you're wanting to ask?
Okay. To your knowledge, has this road has ever been
He doesn't know.
placed on the road list? Or, you know,
I've not been able to find where it ever was. Now,
And he's not able to find where it ever wasn't.
Now,
okay, you guys say you all have a map to show.
Right here.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, one of y'all said here a few minutes ago that there was some committee that had approved this road. But what committee was this?
I don't know if it's a committee, but Janet Lawson used to be on one of y'all's, in the government. She was a postmaster at the time, that got with the road commission in order to keep the roads up for postal and emergency services. And I had my brain hemorrhage in 2012 when I worked for. So it had to be at least 2010 or maybe 2009 when they started doing the roads, and we're doing it up for about a year or so ago.
Well, there's a process that you have to go through to get a road approved and accepted as a county road. And that begins, with the planning commission.
But when they did it for over 10 years, why did they just automatically stop?
So I don't know why you all were told that they don't have anything on it if they did it, because they keep minutes.
Well, we have,
Just like the county court clerk keeps minutes of what happens in these meetings.
Now, a few years ago, I was told that we were actually on the list to have our road paved. I actually went to the courthouse to see about it, and it had been on the list, and they took it off. I do know
I
that.
have no explanation.
my question is, if they've been doing the roads, those roads haven't been approved. And like I asked, Ron Dillbeck, don't you have a daily log? Number one, they do not have an answering machine. They do not have hours posted, which they should have if they're a government entity. And they don't. But showing you those pictures, which think I just got him back. You can see, they're all dated. And he's been down there doing the road work. So why would he stop if we're not on the roads? I mean, I know you don't know.
I can't answer.
Exactly. That's why we need Ron Dill back here, is because he's not answering my questions. He's avoiding, and you know as well as I do, he promised to bring his own money and do his own
Hold it,
thing.
guys, just a second, we're talking over each other. Please, Mr. Roy.
We'll make the motion to extend our time 15 minutes. 7:30 or second time.
Second, that is, sir.
Have a motion to extend 15 minutes. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we're extending.
Thank you.
Just a second.
Yeah, they know.
But one other question that I think that's been asked, that I think that you all need to understand, is that the property assessor has no authority, no legal authority to declare a county road. He is there to assess property. And his records may show that it's a county road, but that doesn't make it a county road. He has no statutory authority to do that.
So where would he have got the records to show that? Where would he have got his information from?
I want him to tell you
That information.
what he told me.
Huh?
I want him to tell you what he told me.
Okay,
Sir,
By the
yeah,
way, hey, there'll be no misunderstanding.
correct.
Joe just said that, will you tell Joe what you said about Brandon, please? Jonathan needs to know.
I was just making the point, Mr. Chairman, that the property assessor has no statutory authority to make a road a county road.
Correct.
Putting it on his tax list as a county road. He doesn't have that authority.
But it does show on our map as a county road down to a certain point.
And he told you what.
He told me that it was a county road.
He told it was.
It's on that map, and it's a county road, right?
So hey,
Well, I think, number one, we need to have a meeting with Ron Dillback. We need to have a meeting with Brandon Parton. And maybe 4 or 5 of us get together and figure it out.
I'll be good.
I would too.
Then go ahead.
Could I ask Joe one question?
Sure.
What's the requirement in Tennessee to hold the office of road superintendent?
We'll
Joe,
vote for you.
hold it. Guys, I got 15. Please. Question was asked. Mr. Coker, what is the qualifications to be road superintendent?
I can't answer that off the top of my head. You know, each office it can be different. I don't know.
Mr. Roy, do you know?
Best I know, 10 years of road building experience, and has to be certified through the state of Tennessee, or hold an engineer degree. And I've asked that question, it don't matter if it's electrical, if it's civil, if it's a PE, it don't matter, as long as you hold engineering degree.
Can you be
You must
grandfathered?
have 10 years of road building experience, and it has to be certified by the state of Tennessee.
Thank you. Does that answer your question, sir?
Close enough.
Thank you. Okay. Katie, we can get together tomorrow. I've got, I'm taking my grandson to football, basketball camp in the morning. Well, I'll be back probably around 9:30.
Okay,
I'll call you
that's fine.
and we will meet at the courthouse and we'll go visit with Mr. Park.
Okay. Number 2, the thing I would like for all of our commissioners to know, your jobs are very disposable, very, very disposable.
We know that.
And we appreciate everything you guys have done, but we are in dire straits down there. And all we're getting is the runaround. We're not getting answers. We come to meetings like this. I talk to Ron Dillback. I call his office. They don't answer the phone because they know it's me. That's illegal because I am a taxpayer. That is very illegal. He can't do that. They should be answering the phone. If I call there 100 times a day, they need to say, yes, Mrs. Gick, I hear you, we'll give him a message. That's all I need to hear. I've spoke to Ron Dillback maybe 5 times since all this has been going on, and he continues to avoid me. Like, he requested to be here for these meetings. I requested him for the planning commission. I requested for him to be here tonight.
Can I
he's
say something?
Go ahead.
Mr. Dillback is an elected official, just like we are.
Correct.
If he wishes to show up, he can. If he doesn't wish to show up, he doesn't have to.
And that goes for phone calls too.
Yes, ma'am, I want you to understand.
And-
We're not involved. No, we're by no means. Mayor,
I have a 10:30 at Death in the morning, I can't be here.
Okay, thank you.
Be sure he's done, I'll be here, be sure he's here.
well, I don't know, we can call and ask him, but we're gonna visit with Mr. Parton in the morning.
Okay.
I'll give him a call tonight and tell him, Mr. Davis,
You made a statement a while ago when you came here, that you called all the commissioners.
No, I have not spoke to all the commissioners on here. I spoke to you at the planning commission meeting.
Well, you know, I was
I'll
I'll let them know.
no, we don't,
Okay.
there's only,
And the planning commission has no authority in that system.
Well, now we know that, and that's, Connie Bruce has told us to go to the planning commission first. That's what we did.
yes, ma'am.
So
Yes.
we have been doing, you know, what we've been asked to do, try and follow, you know, guidelines, but we're getting no answers. We're getting the runaround.
And I can understand, Bruce, I can understand confusion because I see it on the planning commission. If it'd been a new subdivision, it had been coming to the planning commission, it had to be approved as a subdivision. That's where, but it's an old parcel. It's an old subdivision.
But why
It
would
was
he
never
do the
built.
roads and then
I
just
have no-
suddenly stop?
I have no clue.
Again, the letter you had from Mr. Potter, okay? We took it to Mr. Potter,
We
did we
went
not? Mr.
straight, we
Kidd?
went straight to his office, yes, ma'am.
What did he tell us, Mr.
He
Kidd?
said that it was illegal, but out of his heart, the goodness of his heart, he did it anyway. Coach Bruce?
That's correct.
Well, if he knew it was illegal, I mean, does that mean we can go out and sell drugs and it's gonna be legal? I mean, really?
It does not.
Mr. Chairman,
I'm sorry, go ahead, Ralph.
Okay. If you'd called me, I would have called you back. You made the statement.
Well, you may be on my list next.
Well, I'll give you my phone number.
You give me your phone
Let
number.
me talk.
Okay.
We have no control over Ron Dillback. But if he found out by the guy that left and he took over, that he was doing something illegal and he quit it, then that may be why he quit it.
He didn't quit.
He still works your work,
He worked our road up
Okay.
until 2020.
but this is all between.
We have the
If Ron
dated
Dillback
pictures
was come
here.
in here and say that he wants this road to be a county road, I don't believe there's one in here would not support it.
So that's what we need.
That's what you need. But please call me. But the only thing I was offended about when you said no commissioner called you and you called us all, you did not.
I apologize for
My
that.
number's 423-494-8832.
Well, you'll need to write that down.
I will.
But that was pretty
numbers
good.
here.
Everybody, I got 30 calls last week.
Now, I noticed, Mr. Mayor, you're one of my commissioners too. I have not spoke with you, and I have not spoke with Nance.
All right, thank you. You need me.
But you have spoken with me on
I
several
have,
occasions.
until you started ghosting me.
He ghosted me.
Let me tell you, I'm not one easily to be ghosted.
Mr. Chairman, I've answered your call every time and I called you right back.
Exactly.
Thank you, Scotty.
Okay.
Can I just talk to you about now?
Just a second, no, I'm still talking, okay. Tomorrow, between 9:30 and 10, I should be back. We will go, and any one of you that want to go to, we'll just meet here at the courthouse, and we'll go in and see Mr. Parton, and just ask him, about the road.
And talk to this Mapper, Mr. Baird, because Mr. Baird dealt with, Gina's father, and on numerous occasions about the road. And he even said, yes, it is a county road down to that point of Parsons Lane.
Well, just a second. This young lady talk right here.
Sorry, sir.
So, tomorrow, and those of you that wish to come, like I said, meet us here at the courtroom at 9:30. If I'm running a little bit late, please bear with me, because like I said, I'm coming from West Knoxville, back into town. In saying that, we'll go down and see Mr. Barton, and we'll have Mr. Barton to tell you what he told me, or
Or tell you what he told me.
There you go. And then, if...
That's what you call conflict of interest. When you tell somebody something and you tell somebody something else.
I understand. Scotty,
Okay, guys, here we are.
make it quick,
I'm
please.
going to, sir. I'm going to, but I want to get it all in. I got everything in my mind, what I want to say.
Go ahead.
First of all, there's $30,000 worth of taxpayers' money here.
And we get nothing.
Okay, I'm getting to everything quickly.
Okay.
Second of all, there's proof that the road has been worked on. You have proof with a map that it is on the county, in the
A county road to a certain point.
Okay.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Scotty.
And 4 is, number 4 would be that you have the electric department that comes down in there.
Oh, they were down there the other night for
You
several
have,
hours.
the mail
Services.
The mail services,
Yeah, go ahead.
the mail services that's coming down there,
They're discontinued. They stopped.
and all these folks right here, these good citizens. Okay.
Go ahead, Scotty, you got the floor. Hey, you talk,
Okay,
whatever,
so-
go ahead.
No, I'm talking.
Go ahead.
All these citizens right here, these fine folks, that's either born and raised here, that's came in here, you chose Campbell County as your home, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
And you're paying taxes.
Correct.
So, that being said, Mr. Chairman, Joe, I'll ask Joe this question. Joe, what would be reason tonight that I could put this on the agenda to make it a county road Monday night? What? Oh, I'm asking.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Joe.
Well, certainly you could put it on the agenda. One of the things that you've not discussed here tonight was the possibility, like those folks are requesting out on Carp Lane, that you've got a very similar situation where it's an older development, and those people are trying to get that section of road improved. There's a procedure by which they can pay for it over a period of 5 years, but there's still a process you have to go through. That having been said, in direct answer to this question, yes, this commission has the power, if you wish to do so, to declare any road a county road.
Amen.
You have that power. But if you do that, then you have certain duties that you're required to do, and of course there would be many others that would be making that same request. But as far as you having the power to do it, yes, you do.
So, Mr. Chairman, that being said,
Okay.
Monday night, for everything that I've seen, everything I've had to deal with for so many months with Shady Cove,
And Katie Gay.
Katie Keck, and ma'am, please don't take this to me personally.
Oh, absolutely not.
Johnny Bruce, Go Baird, Sue Nance, and as far as I'm concerned, this whole board, a lot of them I don't even like, but I deal with them. But we work together, okay?
Exactly.
But we work together.
Let's go. Come
Wait,
on.
I'm not done, Johnny.
Go ahead.
For us to be able to help you, we're going to have everybody's support to help you. So that being said, Mr. Chairman, I don't know if Mr. Goldberg wants to put it on his agenda to adopt it as a county road because it is in your old district. I'll give you that opportunity, but Mr. Baird, Mr. Bruce, this body, Ms. Nance, you all have my support. I will support it. And I will second that motion.
I think we need to find out why, whether it is a county road and why it's not a county road. Make a decision.
Just a second.
Well, it's been proven by Ron Billback, if he's been down there up until 2020, redoing those roads.
I remember a few years ago, we went through this same thing.
Oh, yeah.
But I remember going down there.
Gizmo Lane's another road.
I remember going down there and doing that road and all this stuff.
Well, I'll tell you all this.
I used to own some property at the top of the hill there.
It's county road there.
I was thinking it was a county road kind of was down a little ways.
It is. Exactly, it is, and it's on our map.
Shady Cove Road is on the county road list, and it's like 1.4 miles or something like that. And that's the main road that goes through there. What we're talking about here are branches off of that.
We're talking about the main road that goes down.
Just the road gets to the top of the hill, goes off the hill, and then
Well, there's like a T, and you kind of jog down the hill. We're talking about the jog down the hill.
there should be something that's planned, that time.
Mr. Chairman? Yes, Mr. Ward? We'll make a motion, we extend the time 15 more minutes. I motion by order.
So moved.
Roll call, for just yes vote, for extend 15 minutes. Yes. We're going to extend 15 more minutes.
Thank you.
Okay?
We'll meet you tomorrow morning. We will set up a meeting with Ron Milbeck.
Zoo.
I've never met him in person, so I would love to. Oh, you make some cookies.
I'd like this young lady to know, we have 3 minutes approved for someone to come on. And we show you your patience for what you go through. We've allowed you almost 45 minutes.
I appreciate that.
So you know, generally anybody gets here, they get 3 minutes. And you've had almost an hour. So people's concerned about what you're saying. So I just want to.
Obviously, and I'm glad you're all here to listen to me.
So,
Yeah.
whatever our goal is, we got to vote on what's right with this law.
Correct. And like I said, you know, my mother was raised up on Stinking Creek along with my grandparents, 12 children. And, you know, I came down here from the time I was born and made the decision to buy a house down here 9 years ago. Because this has always been my home, and it's always been the happiest place for me as a child.
We have something else.
Okay, just a second. So we'll meet here in the morning?
10 o'clock.
How many of you people are going to meet here with me in the morning?
I'll do my best to drag in.
Okay, good deal.
10 o'clock?
Huh?
Do we want to say 10?
Let's make it 9:30. That way.
Don't be late, Johnny Bruce. I think you'll have to go get me again.
Because I'm running, speeding down the road.
Well, don't be speeding on my account. Because, you know, that, those tax dollars might go towards our roads.
Tanya?
Yes. I'm also with Shady Cove, but I just wanted to say that my husband and I decided to go ahead and invest, and so we did an addition to our home. And we are planning, we're just now finishing it. He has about a week's worth of work to do. And we will have our property reassessed, and we want to pay for taxes to this county because this is where we live and this is what we love. And any help that you guys could give, and we truly appreciate each one of you. We thank you. Bravo.
Thank you. The thing about it, okay, we've gone through the proper procedure. You went to the planning commission, get there, you try to get in touch with the road superintendent. You come to the county commission.
Are we allowed at the meeting on Monday?
Yes, ma'am.
What time and where?
Oh, so our meeting,
Yeah.
Our meeting's at 6 o'clock. The only thing is at the regular voting meeting, there's no discussion.
Correct.
If anything comes up, it's a yes vote or no vote, and we move on.
Okay.
Okay?
And Shade Code will be on that.
Okay, Coach, you wanna meet with us in the morning? 9:30? You may. Okay.
Oh, another thing is, one thing Ron Dillbeck does need to do is get an answering machine and post his hours online.
Ma'am, that's up to Brooks, Superintendent. We don't,
You know, I'm just not getting how he's his own entity, and nobody has any, he doesn't have to answer anything, but he does have to answer.
He's dispensable just like we are.
I know, but there is a higher power that everybody has to answer to.
Oh, yeah, we all have.
Exactly.
now, and I want you to understand something. Just because I don't call you back doesn't mean that I'm not doing my job. Because there's not a person sitting here would tell you that I don't do my job. And I try to do it to the best of my ability.
Yeah, but
Like I
when
said, hey, I had an opportunity to talk to Mr. Coker. I went to Brandon Parton and stuff. I talked to Ron Dillback. Mr. Kitts and I went to Mr. Parton. I was getting my information and stuff and everything. It seems that some of the information I got didn't coincide with yours.
Let's see.
Yeah, but I want you to know that, hey, I don't slack. I do my job.
Well, you know, when I call you since May, you
Yeah.
don't answer my phone calls, that's ghosting.
Well,
So,
hey, I apologize for not answering calls and stuff, but like I said, hey, I'm with my information.
I know you keep saying that.
Mr. Kitts?
I'm just going to go ahead and let you all do your thing. Mr. Bruce will keep contact with me about it all. And as far as any motion that's off the table at this point until we can decide
Correct.
if your road is can be a county road or vital reason it ain't a county road. But I really concur with everybody in the Shady Code that are doing their homework and doing everything.
Yes, and I did go through all the properties.
And you know, you a percentage of the tax base, and we appreciate you all.
Okay, Scotty, I'm gonna let Scott Stanfield and then Zach.
Hey, Joe, I got one question. You said this numerous times, Gizmo Lane, North Lane, and every other lane that comes before this law. Would you please tell, just because it's a county road, does that mean we got any authority as a government to maintain that road, take care of that road, blacktop that road?
You can request that he do that, but he is the elected official that is charged.
And he decides every January.
You don't have the power to order him to do it, any more than I have the power to say that it is a county road and declare it so, more so than a man off the street. You know, I don't have that authority, and you don't have the authority to order the other citizens what to do. You can make money available to do it. You can request that he do it, but he is the one that's in charge of that department, and those decisions are his and his alone.
Okay, Zach?
Just a question. Not correct in saying that it's a general
Did he understand what he said, Katie?
I didn't hear it.
Would you speak up, Zach?
So it's my understanding that it's a general procedure when they know the roads are probably going to stay.
Can't remember what he said. You heard what he said.
The reason that our roads have deteriorated is because we stopped doing them in 2020. My guess is it was about March of 2021, because we don't have pictures for 2021, we have to go back to 2020. But we do have pictures of him maintaining the road up to that point. But the roads have deteriorated so bad because there's like hoses sticking up in the road from old water and things like that. You can't even hardly get down the hill now because you'll lose a tire. But my question is, why wasn't it kept up? Why weren't we notified that it wasn't kept up? You know, rather than trying to second guess, you know, Ron Dillbeck's in charge and that's it.
Rusty?
they brought the road up to code, you did not have to put the planning commission. Because it's not
The road superintendent has to sign off, but it's for us.
Yes, that's
Planning commission. He got, the road superintendent would have to sign off with the planning commission on a new sub. I'm just using for example. See, the planning commission was not around when all this took place, which we're also. It was something that was adopted about 15 years ago, and the state's regulates. But Ron is the one that actually, when a subdivision comes into place, they come before the planning commission. That don't necessarily mean it's a county road or a city road because the planning commission is approved, but it has to meet certain criteria. Road beds got to be so thick, width, in different.
Are any of those things grandfathered in?
I don't think, once it's, my understanding, once it's got into this position, it's never been a county road, then he would have to bring up the car lot part plan. But,
But see, that's where we need to find out from Brandon Park and so forth, to see where we stand there. Also, to find out if there's any.
Brandon Park would even have anything to do other than saying that this road was.
He has the map, that's all he has.
But the map is saying that it's.
County road to a certain point.
But what he told Ms. Katie is that it was, that color meant it was a county road. Well, that may have been a mistake. Somebody may have put it in as a county. I think that's what he pretty much told you.
No, we've gotten several maps and they're all the same. We've got old maps, we've got new maps, and they're all the same to a
But says
certain
if
point.
you got the paperwork like Mr. Coker was talking about, it says the county commission adopted this. But when it comes before the planning commission.
No,
and it gets
hopefully you guys are
adopted,
gonna do that Monday.
It gets adopted, and the commission, the planning commission has no authority. It's has to be sent to the road superintendent, and then on. And it has to be a certain standard. That's what people say. When I drove there, I think I'm not trying to rush this. I'm not making another motion to extend it.
I got you. I'm with you.
Yes, sir.
And I'm with you too.
Okay.
Okay, I just want to make sure that she knows and these folks from Shayco understand that now that they're going to get together tomorrow, there's going to be no motion to adopt any road until we find out what's the possibility. I want to say this about, I'm going to tell you point blank, I love the people of Shayco. I represent the county as a whole, as a county commissioner. People know that. I don't care what district it is, I'll help. Now, that being said, and Katie, God forbid, I want you to understand this is my heart talking to you. Ron Dillback, to me, has by far been one of the best road superintendents this county has ever had. And I've told people, and they know that, that's why he keeps getting elected. I'm saying that off the record here because he does have the best interest of his heart for helping the people in the county.
His job is also disposable.
I know, ma'am, just talking.
Yeah.
And I know his best interest is the county, is the county.
It's not Shady Cove.
And I'm sorry.
Vince, go ahead. Wait just a second, hold just a second. Mike, you sit here, I'm sorry, I overlooked you.
All the comment I was going to make, Scott, you beat it to it. You're discussing. Okay.
But we'll talk about it tomorrow. How about that?
Rusty?
One thing,
Hold just a second.
how long has this road been in existence? I missed that one ago.
It's 70?
In the 70s.
Was it took care of under J.T. Leach or Mike Leach?
Or Jessica Flores.
Well, Jess,
We have no idea.
Sorry, I don't know.
but there's nobody living in there that knows that other than the administration of Dennis Potter.
He's asking you a good question.
Correct, yeah, I mean, and Dennis Potter told me when we bought the property that it was a county road down to below our house. Because he even helped us put in a culvert into our driveway.
But he's also come back, I'm not trying to push him to leave, I'm sure, but he came back and said that he did something illegal.
Scotty, what did he tell us?
He said, one more time, we're gonna make it real quick. He said, I did it because, he wanted to do it. He said, I know it was illegal to do, but I did it anyway. Donnie?
I'd like to meet with Mr. Potter too.
I can talk to him.
Donnie, is that what he said? You did.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion
I'm sorry, anyone raise their hand back there like to speak?
Anybody else got anything?
Did you time?
I've talked, yeah.
Please, hey, like I said, hey, speak up now, you got everybody here.
So why can't we put a gate and say, you can't come here anymore?
It's on a county road, I don't think that you would be able to.
Well, we've been told we can't.
Don't they have to have a,
Well, TVA has to have access, everybody, you know, down to that
TV has access to We
discussed that. And Mr. Novak keeps telling us, he's getting a hold of TVA, but he never has.
I motion to adjourn.